I have got two good patients for you to watch today, guys. First patient here has been suffering a lot with ear pain, so really uncomfortable ear canals. The second patient is really interesting. That is a complete keratin husk of the ear canal. You know, you're talking a complete layer of keratin around that canal, covering the eardrum, everything. Lovely eardrum peel as well, coming up at the end, so don't go anyway. So this first patient here, you can see we've got this kind of really soft wax at the entrance. Now, patient was complaining of ear pain. I was like, well, it looks really soft, but that's because the patient's been oiling before they come along to the clinic. Now, what you see is once we get past that initial soft section, we've got some skin in here, and we've also got some very dry and hardened wax. Now, this is where the pain is coming from. So it's not unusual for patients to report pain with very hard wax, and usually that pain transfers down into the jawline here or radiate up to the temple. Both of those are quite normal, and that's to do with the little nerves that pass through the skin inside the ear canal. So it depends on where the wax is putting pressure on that canal. Certain areas of the canal will get referred pain to certain areas of the ear or the outer ear or into the jawline. So what we've got here is we're starting to break this much thicker, harder plug down. And you can see now we've created a little gap at the top. So now the sound can get through. So we're just on this last part of the plug. So we're just lifting from the side. There we go. And we've got a grip on the edge. And we're almost there. We're going to give this a little bit more of a wiggle. You can see we've lifted it from the canal wall. So we've detached it. So now this wax plug is mobile. We just need to get this out of the canal now. So a little bit more of a wiggle. Guys, apologies for the videos this week. They have been all over the shop, and the reason for that is I haven't been particularly well this week, unfortunately, and I'm the only one that can do the editing, the videos, and so they do all the voiceovers and everything else, which is why your videos have come in kind of batches. Things will return back to normal tomorrow. I really wasn't feeling well yesterday, which is why you didn't get a video going up yesterday. But back to normal next week, absolutely fine. You've got me now for today's video and for Monday's video, probably back with Taylor for Wednesday. I know Taylor's given me loads of videos this week. I think there were 5 patients in the folder yesterday. So you're going to see a lot more Taylor Green as well coming up, which is always good because we do miss Mr. Taylor Green. And Katie will be back as well. She's away doing more of her official training next week, but she will be back with us as well. So fingers crossed. There was a comment saying, can we get all 3 of you on the screen at the same time? I will try. It's to do with the mics. We've only got 2 mics at the most. So I will try, if I can figure out a way of getting the microphones working for all 3 of us, by all means, I will put that on as well. So this is the other ear canal, and you can see how this wax is looking a little bit darker. It's got a soft wax at the entrance, but it's going completely up and down. So it's putting pressure on top and bottom of the canal there. So we're just going to get rid of the soft section. It's mostly skin, actually, this right at the entrance to the canal. There you go. And then we're going to take a little look at this back section here. Now it looks like there's a bit of skin to the right, a little bit of skin to the bottom there. So let's just get rid of that, just so we can get an idea of the edges of this wax. There we go. So now we can see the plug. Let's see if we can pull from this top left. Is it wedged in there? Is it completely wedged against top? But yeah, you see that little flinch there, and that means that shows me that this plug is wedged top and bottom. So what I'm going to do is, rather than sort of maneuver the top and bottom of it, I went straight for the center. And the reason for that is I'm going to try and pull the whole thing down, or at best chip away of that center section. Then we'll be able to collapse the top and bottom in, so it doesn't cause as much discomfort. But you can see that's where the discomfort was coming from for this particular patient. So I'm just taking these edge pieces out. Once we get that moving, patient felt instant relief. You know, the pain had gone. And in fairness, this patient had been to their GP, and the GP said, look, you know, we may be looking at a possible ear infection. I can't tell because I can't see beyond the wax. So get that removed first, and then we'll be able to see, are we looking at an infection trapped behind the wax? Luckily for this patient, there was no sign of infection. The canal looks really healthy. Ear canal skin looks really good. Eardrum itself looks really good as well. So I could advise the patient that there isn't an infection, and they will write back to the GP just saying, look, it was just purely down to wax and that discomfort. So we're just going to pull this last little bit of skin. You can see lots of dry skin in here. So always advise patients, if they've got dry skin like this, definitely use some olive oil moving forwards. It's going to loosen everything up, and it's just going to help with these kind of dry layers. You can see running through there. Another little bit of skin. There we go. You can see how hard that skin is, that surface layer, which you're going to see to an extreme for the next patient as well. So we've got 2.5 centimeters, 1 1/8 of an inch there. Now this next one, this is always an interesting one. You have seen this patient on the channel before. They come through about every 3 months. They usually got a really big keratin husk, but look at this. You've got this layer of keratin that's completely enclosed this canal. So imagine what's happening here. We talk about this epithelial migration. If you're new to the channel, what that means, epithelial just means we talk about skin migration basically. So the newest part of the skin is formed much deeper in the canal, and it migrates out like a conveyor belt. Now what normally happens as it migrates out, it starts to dry out, it dehydrates a little bit and becomes tougher, because basically you've got a higher ratio of keratin to water in the side of the ear canal. Goodness me, inside the skin cells. There we go. So that's what's happening there. Now what happens with this particular patient is they get interruption to the epithelial migration. It does not migrate out. So what you end up with is the skin stays in situ, the surface layer of skin, and ends up hardening up, really hard skin. And that not only covers the ear canal, but it also covers the eardrum. And we've got a cracking eardrum peel coming up for you a bit later on, so make sure you stay tuned for that as well. It's towards the end of the video. But it only really affects one ear. The patient does get a little bit of dry skin in the other ear, but not as much. So this is only a month since we saw this patient last. So you can see how much builds up just inside this canal. So we've got the forceps in here just because this is such a tough old piece of skin, and it's one continuous piece of skin. It's going all the way around. You can see the fresher skin underneath there goes all the way around the canal and down over the eardrum. So you can imagine it was making the patient feel really muffled. And we're just going to lift the edge here. There you go. You can still sticking with the forceps. The suction doesn't really have as much power to be able to pull this out. You can see I've got a grip on an edge piece here, so I'm just trying to pull this down. I can see where the edge piece is. So I'm going to reposition this now with the suction, get it into a better position for the forceps. There we go. So it is quite an interesting case. Lovely chap as well that comes through. You know, I've got to know him quite well now over the last couple of years because I see him quite regularly. But yeah, really interesting guy. So we're just going to pull this last. There you go. Let's see if we can get this last little bit lifted off that base of the canal. So we know we've detached the right hand side. We now know we've detached the base of the canal. You can see it's tearing away a little bit. But we know it's still attached over the top and down over the eardrum as well. So we've still got a lot to get out. Now I'm staying outside of the canal a minute just because I can see that this flap of skin is literally just inside the canal. There we are. So you can see where it's covering that eardrum, look further in. And we've also got this section at the top. So I know I've detached the right. I know the left is detached. So we've just got this top section here that needs to come away. And this feels like toughened leather. It's got that really kind of rigid feel to it. So I've got to detach this top section. There we go, all the way down the canal. You can see I'm pulling now. I'm trying to take that piece off the left hand side as well. I know somebody in the comments is going to say, well, could you use olive oil? You could. The only reason I don't use olive oil up until this point is because I've been working really close to the entrance to the canal. When you put the oil in, it does cause a few issues with clarity using an endoscope. So I'm just removing this excess dry skin from the front portion of this plug, and I'm just going to pull this back section. There you go. Look how that peeled all the way down, and because we detached the other sections, you're going to see this come away in two pieces. So that's the first bit. So that was quite a chunky old piece. But take a look at this next piece. This next piece is actually a perfect cast of the patient's ear canal. So we're going to give this a little bit of a wiggle. There we go. Look at this coming away. All of that keratin coming out there. Look at that. That is a complete cast. And then if we take a look further and you think, oh yeah, okay, we just got that little bit to the left hand side, but the eardrum itself looks okay. So let's just tidy up some of these looser bits of softer skin. These are bits that are trapped under that harder layer. so trapping a little bit of moisture underneath. But take a look at this now. So we're just going to move this edge. There you go. Lovely. Let's see how this peels away. And then we're going to move up to this left. Now take a look at this. Watch this start to peel. There we go. I'm thinking, okay, so there's a little bit, it's not, I thought it was just a ridge to start with, but not just a ridge, unfortunately. As we kind of flatten that edge out, so we've got to peel the edge over, flatten it so we get a better grip with a fine end here. Look at this coming off the eardrum. Look at that for an eardrum peel. So it's peeled all the way across the bottom. Now we've just got to peel this top section. Look how that is peeling now over the pars flaccida, that top section of the ear canal there. And we're moving it from left to right. We're getting there. Now I can see there's this one little dangly bit of dry skin. So I've put some olive oil in as well. That usually helps things just to move along a little bit quicker. And here we go. Still peeling, still peeling, still peeling. All the way across, over the pars flaccida. And away. There you go. So you can see we've actually taken that whole surface layer of the eardrum. Now look how that eardrum looks now. Before it was looking very misty, almost quite foggy, almost like I'd imagine the way it would look if you had like maybe a cataract or something like that, that's sort of looking through a gauze almost. But now look how shiny that eardrum is. I know you've got some oil on there, but the skin looks a lot healthier in there. So we're just going to take away some of these looser pieces here. And just tidying up the last of it. There you go, just taking the excess oil out there. So just hovering above and just suctioning the excess oil away. And last little bit to come away. There you go. But that eardrum is looking a lot better than it was. You've got a little piece just to the right hand side. This is the last bit we're going to remove now. So you can see it's coming away nicely in a second. There we go, fine, and just bunched it all up. And then we peel. And there we go, and we peel this last section, just draw this back, looking so much better in there, patient hearing a lot better as well. So don't forget, this is what we removed from that ear canal. You can see all these little bits that came away, so 4.5 centimeters. This is purely just skin. I don't know if I say 1 inch and 7/8 or 1 7/8 of an inch. But it's that anyway. So it's come away really nice. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching our video again today. I hope you got to the end as well, because if you didn't get to the end, you missed a treat. If you do enjoy the videos, don't forget you can always like, heart, share, follow, subscribe. If you thoroughly enjoy the videos, you can also consider becoming members of the channel. That way then you get to see even more videos. You get 2 more videos a week if you become members as well. But in the meantime, guys, as always, take care of yourselves, take care of your ears. It feels weird saying this, and take care of one another. And I shall see you again for the next video. Bye, everybody.